Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with a Spain news update. And finally, after close to 11.5 months of negotiations and bureaucratic delays, British people or British residents here in Spain will again be able to exchange their driver's licenses, but more about that in just a moment. Firstly, a big thanks to all of the people that left comments on the last video. Lots of comments, lots of debate happening there as usual. Thanks to people that have supported the channel recently, either by buying me a coffee or through the new Super Thanks option or through Patreon, and a huge thanks to my patrons on Patreon for that support. Now, let's get into the news, and finally, I'll repeat that word, finally, the British driving licence saga appears to be over, because yesterday, Spain's Council of Ministers sat down and approved the driver's licence exchange between the two countries, which, as I said previously, has been dragging on for months and months. As we can see here, UK driving licence exchange agreement approved by Spanish ministers. Spanish government ministers have approved the agreement that will allow UK driving licenses held by residents in Spain to be exchanged for Spanish ones and vice versa from Thursday the 16th of March. The deal approved at this Tuesday's cabinet meeting on the 14th of March also includes the exchange of information about traffic offences affecting road safety. The approval means that holders of a valid driving licence issued by either of the two countries can apply to exchange it for an equivalent document issued by their country of residence without the need to take a practical or theory driving test. With this agreement, those British citizens resident in Spain who did not exchange their driving licence before the deadline in May last year will be able to do so from Thursday the 16th of March. A 6-month period has been established in which British citizens can drive in Spain with their original licences until these are exchanged. So there we go, and if you listen carefully, you can hear the sigh of relief for thousands and thousands of British residents here in Spain that haven't been able to drive. And why did it take so long? Heavens only knows. The British Embassy here in Spain has been saying for months that a resolution was just around the corner, but didn't it drag on? But finally, again, the use of that word, everything now appears to be done and dusted. So congratulations to those people that have been in limbo for the last 10 or 11 months. Now, news about Spain's terrible lockdown that we experienced back in 2020 is making headlines again, because people are finally admitting that some mistakes were made. As we can read here, the 5 mistakes that led Spain to the worst lockdown in Europe. We reacted late and communication could have been improved, someone said. The toughest phase of the pandemic was threefold paradoxical in Spain. In theory, we enjoyed a privileged health system, but we were unable to see the crisis until it was on top of us. We lived through the most severe confinement, but the death curve was rising to unheard of limits, and we suffered more than anyone else the damage that the virus could cause. But we were the first country in Europe where it got out of control again after coming out of the lockdown. So some of the 5 mistakes that led to the worst lockdown in Europe: the country reacted late to the health crisis, and communication about the health crisis could have been improved. No Sherlock. Now, another crisis in Spain is being brought to people's attention, and this time it relates to pill popping. Because as we can read here, Spain is gorging itself on pills and is now the world's most pill-popping country. Spain is the country with the highest consumption of benzodiazepines in the world, a drug included in the group of hypnosedatives that is often prescribed to improve sleep due to its anxiolytic, hypnotic, and muscle relaxant effects, according to data from the International Narcotics Control Board, the INCB. It is estimated that almost 110 daily doses per 1,000 inhabitants were consumed in Spain in 2020. Only Belgium, 84 daily doses, and Portugal, 80, come close to Spain's figures, with geographically close countries such as Germany, 0.04 daily doses, far behind. We live in a competitive and stressful society in which we must sustain routines that require us to stay on the edge of performance without anxiety or compromise. In this context, many find it difficult to cope with everyday problems and turn to chemistry to switch off, to relieve anxiety, or to sleep. According to psychiatrist at the Canalejas Mental Health Unit in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, Mónica Florido. So, what's going on here in Spain for people to be taking so many pills, especially when you compare it to what's happening in Germany? Is life here for many people so much more competitive and stressful than it is in those other countries? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And the final piece of news today relating to Spain's royal family and the fact that the heir to the throne, Leonor, is starting her military training. As we can read here, Spain's Princess Leonor to do military training for 3 years. Princess Leonor, 17, and the heir presumptive to the Spanish throne will undergo 3 years of military training starting in August, Defense Minister Margarita Robles said on Tuesday. The Spanish monarchy is struggling to repair its image after a series of scandals over the past decade, mainly linked to the former King Juan Carlos, who abdicated in 2014 in favour of his son King Felipe. As in all parliamentary monarchies, the heir has to have a military background and a military career, Robles said after a cabinet meeting. Felipe's eldest daughter, Leonor, who will finish her 2-year high school course at UWC Atlantic College in Wales in a few months, turns 18 in October. She is the first in line of succession unless a male heir is born, followed by her sister Sofia. So the heir to the Spanish throne, Princess Leonor, about to start her military training, 3 years of military training, and as the defense minister pointed out, this is usual in monarchies around Europe. We all know that members of the British royal family have to do their military training, and the same thing happens here, because here in Spain also the King, Felipe, is head of the armed forces. But I imagine the training that the princess is going to do is a light version of military training, because normal military here in Spain have to spend at least 5 years in a military academy, and her training is going to be finished in 3. So good luck, Leonor, with that. Now let's have a look at some of the comments from previous videos. One here from Janice: you have the same waiting time to get back into England going through passport control, not just the Spanish problem. Yeah, Janice, thanks for the comment, and you're right, long queues at passport control is not a problem unique to Spain. You can get it also in the United Kingdom. In Australia, the queues can also be pretty bad at times, depending of course on how many flights come in at the same time, so a problem that many international travellers have to put up with on a daily basis, unfortunately. We saw yesterday that the Sun newspaper in the United Kingdom was highlighting the fact that there's going to be long queues at Spanish airports, trying to put people off travelling to Spain, no doubt, preferring that they holiday in the United Kingdom, maybe heading to Blackpool instead of Benidorm. But as I mentioned in yesterday's live stream, we saw exactly the same stories dominating British press around the same time last year, so history seems to be repeating itself again. But as we also saw last year, and according to the amount of British people that did end up coming to Spain, they weren't put off by the tabloid warnings. Another comment here from JMW: a week last Monday, coming into Barajas, it took over an hour to get through passport control. The EU lane was totally empty. Yeah, JMW, thanks for the comment, and thanks for sharing your first-hand experience with passport control at Spain's biggest airport, Madrid Barajas. And I'll repeat that, Spain's biggest airport, Madrid Barajas. And in my experience with passport control over the years, and I have caught a few international flights, it all seems to depend on how many flights or international flights come in at the same time. I remember in London one time I travelled to Gatwick, but unfortunately my plane from Spain arrived at the same time as 2 flights from the United States, and of course me being a non-European citizen was stuck in queues with those Americans. And when you've got hundreds of people trying to get through passport control at the same time, that's when there can be delays. But let's be honest, if airports were managed better, we probably wouldn't have these problems. Don't know, just putting it out there. One here from Stevo: the Sun newspaper is detested in Liverpool for its headlines over the Hillsborough football stadium event, where many Liverpool fans lost their lives in a crush. Yes, Stevo, thanks for the comment, and again mentioning the Sun newspaper, in my opinion and the opinion of many people, one of the worst newspapers in the United Kingdom because of the sensationalist headlines that they often put out. And I, like many people, are confused as to why people read the Sun to get their opinions. But obviously, if newspapers like the Sun still exist, it's because people read them. And are they going to change their format or style when it comes to news reporting? Probably not. One here from Andres: always a pleasure to watch these live streams. Great work, Stuart. In the 3 times I've been to España, I've had to wait in line with about 100 to 200 people. I consider it a minor inconvenience compared to the tremendous pleasure of visiting this wonderful country and interacting with its always friendly people. When I went through passport control in June 2022, he saw my previous 2 España stamps and he even said welcome back again and smiled. Yeah, Andres, thanks for the comment and thanks for sharing your personal and positive experience about passing through passport control here in Spain. For you, it's worth it because the end result is getting to spend time in this magnificent country. And I suppose that is the case for a lot of people, that getting to enjoy everything that this country has to offer, whether it's the weather, the food, the wine, the people, is worth a bit of a delay at passport control. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Is it worth it or not? One here from Christina. Tim Hortons was founded in Canada, a quintessential donut and coffee place. There was one on every corner in the town where I grew up. A truly Canadian order was a Tim Hortons double-double, which was a very large coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars. Yeah, Christina, thanks for the comment, and this was something that also popped up in yesterday's live stream, the name Tim Hortons, because here in Spain the brand is owned by the same people that own Burger King and also Popeyes, which is another fast food restaurant. And I wasn't really familiar with Tim Hortons. I had seen it in Madrid, didn't really know what they served. I thought maybe it was a sandwich and coffee place, but then somebody said it was a donut and coffee place similar to Dunkin' Donuts. But the next time I'm in the center of Madrid, I'll keep an eye out for Tim Hortons and see if their coffee and donuts are up to scratch. And finally, one here from Christine. Sorry I missed the live chat today. Thank you for showcasing the pic of my barrio. Well, not exactly the Costa del Sol, ha ha ha. It is still a nice little oasis 10 minutes from the center. Have a good one. Salud. P.S. Yep, Trump is the name. Yeah, Christine, thanks for the comment. And again, something that popped up in yesterday's live stream. Christine had a comment that I read out, which was talking about rules and regulations when it comes to banking in the United States. And the person mentioned in that comment, Mr. Trump, apparently got rid of some of the important regulations when it comes to controlling banks. And this week, of course, and last week, we have seen a couple of big United States banks crash. And Christine also sent through one of the pictures of her neighborhood or her barrio in Madrid that I featured on yesterday's backdrop. So thanks for that. On that note, I'll wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. Debate the video out as you normally do. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.